Alright everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, also known as FlyFisher530. Today we're doing a review of this HiBoost Travel 3.0 ExplorerX cell phone booster. I've always wanted one of these, just had so many other projects going on. I just, when they offered to send me this to review, I jumped on the chance because I've always really wanted to test these out and see how they do. This is meant to not give you a signal when you have no bars, but if you have a 1 bar area, this will hopefully boost you up to 2, 3, 4 bars of signal strength and give you a much better connection for either talking to somebody or downloading photographs or text messages, that sort of thing. And this has some really neat features. It also has excellent Amazon reviews. And I probably wouldn't have accepted the offer to review this if it didn't. It has a rotatable antenna that's weatherproof. And so it'll, dust, water, whatever, it's going to be fine mounted on the outside of your vehicle. It has an interior antenna feature. A little looks like a mouse, but it'll help it boost the signal from outside the vehicle inside the vehicle to your devices, which is really cool. And yeah, it just looks like a really cool product. It has a 3-year warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee, and that kind of tells you a lot about the product as well. So we're going to do a quick unboxing, and then we'll get started with installing it in the vehicle. So stay tuned. Alright, so in the box we have the power unit itself. It has some really nice rubberized edges here around the metal itself. Feels heavy, feels really well built. It has kind of like your display here of your power, what's going on with your power and probably your connections. It has your indoor connection here. I'm assuming going to the indoor antenna, and then DC power in on this side. Cable in from your antenna outside here on this side. So pretty simple setup there. Looks like this is part of the antenna right here. Some like zip tie type mounts, stick-on mounts. I assume that's to hold the antenna when it's on the vehicle. Okay, so under the first level is another level here, and so we have the antenna here. It's going to connect to this rod piece here, the extension. And then it looks like the power source for the antenna. The interior, this is what I said looked like a mouse. This is your interior antenna. It helps boost the signal coming from the outside antenna. And then some basically your mounts for your antenna. This is very heavy metal here. It looks really well made. This is where you can rotate your mount. And so yeah, some various other little things. Spring here for your antenna so it can be flexible. Some screws and mounting things. Yeah, and other attachments for your antenna. So pretty cool. Looks pretty straightforward. I always say that, and then it ends up being a little more of a project than I thought. But alright, so we've got the main antenna all attached together. We've got the top unit, the main part of the antenna, the extension pole. Then there's a small piece here at the bottom of the extension that allows the cable to come out. It has a slot in it, and then that attaches to your base mount. And then the base mount has this round knob on it. You just pull it out, and it allows it to rotate. So you can rotate it down when you're around trees or traveling on the highway, things like that. Pretty cool, pretty easy setup. Nice, feels really secure, feels really well made. So, all right, now it's time to figure out how to get the power system installed and where I'm going to put the main power unit. This guy probably under the front passenger seat probably. And then route the cable from this to the power. Get this all set up, so stay tuned for that part. Alright, so we have the antenna here I need to mount on the Jeep, and as you can see, my Rhino Rack platform here is completely covered by the AluCab tent. There's no flat surface to mount this on. I would want to mount it like this with this knob facing out so it could tilt this way or this way. So what I'm going to do, the plan right now is I have these brackets here I'm going to remove. These two brackets are for a boot bag I never use. I never hang the bag outside the tent. I use it inside the tent, so those brackets are going to go. This bracket is for a pole that holds out an awning that folds out of the tent at the top. I've never released the awnings on this tent in 3 years. So that bracket. So I'm going to remove all these brackets, and then I'll show you what I'm planning to do next. Okay, so you see this bracket here. My plan is cut it down about where these slots, these long slots end. Cut it about right here and mount it up where these brackets are right now. I'll require drilling some holes on either side here, and then drilling holes on through here for this to mount on. Like, let's see, like this. That's how it'll look. So it'll be cut here to shorten it, and then on the back side here we'll drill holes that allow me to mount it into that slot rack up there. And that's how it's going to be. So when I do that, it'll be up in this area, and in a pretty good spot, I think. And I can either mount it here, or I can actually mount it, take this handle off, and I can mount it back here. I haven't really decided yet, to be honest, but that's the plan. And then I'll drill a hole through the top of the roof of the Jeep. It won't be the first time. There's other holes that have been drilled through. And then we'll be able to route this through the top, and then I'll connect it to the cable that'll go to the power unit. So shouldn't be too difficult. I'll show you the base plate after it's done. I think it'll work. It's really beefy. This is a really thick steel, so this isn't going anywhere. My main concern is drilling holes through this. It's going to take some good drilling to be able to do that. So anyway, that's the plan, and I'll show you after we get this finished. All right, with the help of my neighbor, Tim, with his drill press, I'm able to drill some nice straight holes through this bracket. These two will be on the slide mount on the alocab. These will hold the base plate for the antenna. And yep, and now I'm going to actually prime it and then coat it with the black paint, make everything match in, and then we'll get it mounted up. All right, test fitting. So this bracket came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely a beefy piece of metal. 2 holes there will go on the slide rack. And yeah, it's definitely beefy. It's definitely on there really solidly. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, so now to install the bracket. Get these. Before I even tighten that down, I want to make sure I can get the ladder on without any issues. So let's take a look at that next real quick. I want to make sure this ladder is going to get on here, no problem. Yeah. In fact, that's about the perfect place to put it. Yep. That'll be fine. All right, so now we can tighten up the bolts. But what I'm going to do next is actually route the cable from the power unit back to where the antenna wire will drop through the top of the Jeep. So just going to basically put it under the sideboards, basically under the carpeting, kind of hide it as best I can, and just route it from point A to point B. All right, so I have the cable routed in here now, basically to the back. It's going to be underneath the carpeting here, all the way back, and then down under the carpeting here to the front passenger seat area. All right, so this is the power source for the cellular booster. I'll probably do a hardwire in later with a switch, but that goes into the input, DC input side of this unit. Next, I'll attach the indoor antenna, and then once this is under the seat, I'll attach the cable to the antenna. Okay, the indoor antenna is attached. I'll have to find a spot to put that, probably somewhere around the stick shift. All right, got the Velcro on the back, got a piece there. That's good. And then the one thing I worried about was that not being able to open, but opens just fine. Not in the way. Very cool. So now I'll just take the wire and hide it down along here till it goes under the seat. All right, so I got the wires kind of cleaned up in here now. This wire and this wire kind of routed down through here, kind of hidden away, and then goes under the carpet. And then it goes under the seat here. So looks a little better, a little cleaner. Until I can get a switch installed, this will do fine. Okay, so what I did next was I drilled a hole through the Jeep just large enough for the cable here. And there are multiple ways you can seal that hole. I took the easy way out and used silicone seal around the wire where it penetrates through the hole. I've done that a couple other times on my Jeep under here for the lights on the sides and back of the Jeep, as well as for electrical system that goes up to the rooftop tent. Several penetrations that I just used silicone seal around the hole, and it's never leaked or had any issues. So I just took the easy way out and used silicone to seal around it. But they do have these things called cable glands that are really kind of neat. You have to do a larger diameter hole to drill to put these in, but they do screw down around the cable and provide a very tight fit. Maybe looks a little more professional, I don't know, but since you really can't see underneath my rack at all, I didn't feel the need to really use these at all. So that's the method I used to put the cable through the top of the Jeep. All right, well, I added a final thing I added was this carriage bolt to the slot here, and it's a 3-inch carriage bolt coming out from the slot. Just gives a little support to the antenna as it's in the horizontal position, and then on the bolt itself I have a piece of vinyl tubing that covers it and kind of softens it up, keeps from scratching the antenna. And pretty happy with the way it came out. I think it's going to work out pretty good. The kit does come with this piece right here, which does essentially the same thing. When the antenna is in a horizontal position, this will support it. If you had a very flat surface, you could mount this on, which I don't. Then you could put this at some distance away from the mounting point and support the antenna with this piece right here. So pretty cool, but since I can't do it that way, I'm pretty happy with this as my final kind of set up for my antenna, and from here I'm going to be going out and doing a test, so stay tuned. Okay, it's time for a field test. I've actually been field testing it for about 10 to 12 days. I've gone up above Georgetown here on the way to the Rubicon Trail, an area about a half hour north of Georgetown. Is like a 1 bar area pretty consistently. Right now, even in my driveway, I'm only at 2 bars. But what I've been seeing is when I'm at 1 bar, I turn on the cellular booster, it'll jump to 2 bars. If I'm at 2 bars, it'll jump to 3 bars, that sort of thing. Like a 1 bar improvement, it's pretty typical. But what I want to do is run this open signal app that'll tell us give us a speed performance on this test. And right now I don't have Wi-Fi hooked up. It's on cellular network only. And we're going to do a speed test first. I'll write down some of these numbers. And this is without the cellular booster right now. So hopefully you can see that. So we got 28.9. On the download, 2.8 on the upload, and a latency of 44. Okay, and then we'll do a test of video. It's running a 720p video. Of course, the clock has to come on. Okay. I don't know why it stopped. Okay, it's done. 1.5 seconds. For loading, 0 on buffering, 60.4 on playback. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we'll plug in the booster. The blue light is on, so it's turned on. Look and see here what we get. Typically, you'll get a 1 bar improvement here on the there it goes, 1 bar improvement. So we'll go back to the original. We'll do a speed test here. Now with the cellular booster hooked up. Okay, 41 on the download. .8 on the upload. And latency of 40. Okay, so that's better. It was 28.9 on the download, so now it's 41. And 2.8 on the upload, now it's 5.8. So pretty good improvement there. Test the video. Okay, so loading 1.2, buffering 0, playback 91.6. Yeah, so it's better. It's because the playback before was 60.4. So yeah, so that's kind of typical, guys, what I've been getting, and so you can judge for yourself, you know, what you think about that. But that's just kind of typical. Every day I've been testing it pretty much the last 10 to 12 days. And that's typical. You can still see it's at 3 bars. There is an improvement for sure on the download, quite a bit, going from 29 essentially to 41, and then on the upload going from 2.8 to 5.8. That's twice as much. And then on the video playback, 60.4 versus 91.6, so about a 30% improvement there. So there you have it. All right, well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you found it interesting to see how I did this cellular antenna from HiBoost. I'm happy with it. I'm actually really happy with it. You know, like I said, it was consistent 1 bar improvement from 1 bar to 2 bars or 2 bars to 3 bars. Maybe in some areas I'll see, you know, a bigger jump than that, but for right now, that's what I've been seeing for the first 10 to 12 days. Definitely do an update down the road. It may just be the area I'm in, the cellular network I'm in, I don't know. But in doing the test with the OpenSignal app, I'll put this up on the screen, is pretty significant improvement. So on the download speed for the cellular network, it went from 28.9 to 41, improvement of 42%. On the upload speed, it went from 2.8 to 5.8, which was over 100% improvement. And then the latency, you know, about a 9% decrease in the latency, which is pretty good. And then on the video streaming, on the loading, it went from 1.5 to 1.2, improvement of about 20%, buffering no change. Playback, it went from 60.5 to 91.5%, so improvement of about 51%. So overall, pretty dang good improvement, so I'm happy with it, and I think it'll be fun to kind of play with it some more. I'll definitely do an update down the road. I think one issue might be this massive rooftop tent. This is with a metal roof rack underneath it. It could be that is one of the issues. They do talk about when you set these up, you want the indoor antenna, cellular booster, away from the outdoor antenna, as far away horizontally and as far away vertically. And I push this thing about as far back as I want to do it so I can set it down and have it supported with this bolt. And then on the inside, you know, where it is by my glove box, I even set it down on the floorboard and didn't really see a change. So I'm going to leave it where it is and just keep testing it. I'll definitely do an update down the road. You know, would Starlink be better? Absolutely. You know, but this is free after you pay for the unit itself. You don't have a monthly service charge. And I definitely think it'll be fun to test out in the future, see how it's doing in some spotty network areas. But I'm glad I got it. I think it's going to be fun to use it in the future, and I'll definitely be doing an update down the road. So once again, guys, if you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. Always helps. And like I always say, hope to see you on the trail someday.